I mean, I'm asking people to do it because I have done it. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I was in Ghana, I was a tailor. I had
really,
I make like top clothes. I had like a lot of my doctors in Coco Clinic. I used to sew for them, and this was before COVID hit. So when COVID hit, I made so much money.
Your own design.
Oh yeah. So when COVID hit, I made scraps for my Coco Clinic. Like at the whole hospital, I made the scraps, more than 100 scraps for the whole hospital, and it was because I learned to sew. So I tell people it's something you can always do.
So do you have like a page, your fashion design page on Instagram?
Oh no, I don't sew again. I mean, when I left Ghana and I came to the UK,
why would you invest that much time and energy and develop all those skills in that while and just let it go? Stop that. Let's talk about retrogression, Manny. So for those who are seeing Manny for the first time, he is a Ghanaian trained nurse who practiced in the UK for about 2 years and then relocated with his family to the US. And he's been in the US for over a year now. Today, we're going to talk about retrogression for those of you who are interested in knowing why your process to relocate to the US as a nurse is taking so long, or for those of you who have heard about retrogression but honestly don't really know the details. So I have Manny here to help me with that. Manny is a YouTuber. He has his own YouTube channel where he talks about nursing, migrating to the US, and nursing in the US in general. So I'll leave a screenshot of his channel on the screen and a link to his channel in the description for you to access. Manny, what is retrogression?
So in simple terms, retrogression is a delay in your visa application to have a green card. So if you are applying for an immigrant visa, not a passport visa. So if you are applying for an immigrant visa, like what we nurses or tech programmers from other countries are applying to migrate to the US, that's the kind of visa you need, an immigrant visa. And the retrogression means that it's going to take you longer to get a visa to migrate to the US. That's simply what the retrogression is. And it goes back so many years. So if you are in 2024 now, retrogression can hit up to, let's say, 2022, which means that cases that were filed and are current from 2022 are the ones that are going to be processed. And so it means that they have to finish 2022, finish 2023 before they come to 2024. And so it's like your process keeps going further. Yeah.
First of all, the process of relocating to the US on the EB, which one is the?
I think it's EB3 visa.
Okay, the nurse's own is the EB3 visa. So under the EB3 visa, in the process of migrating, which stage is the retrogression affected? Because some people don't really understand it. One question somebody asked me that if I actually said it like confidently that if you're in the UK, there are always visa slots. It's not like Ghana where appointment dates are far away, so it doesn't affect people in the UK. So that means clearly the person thinks that retrogression is affecting when you are choosing a visa appointment date, and which is far from that. So kindly explain which part exactly that has been hit and then which part that the delay is really affecting, and let them know that it has nothing to do with the visa appointment date.
Yeah, so with my understanding, the retrogression is that once you finish all your processes, your exams, I said I'm talking about nurses, so you've written your IELTS, you've written your NCLEX and all of those things, then your employer or whichever agency you are using is going to apply for you to get a green card. So once they apply for you to get a green card, they are going to do your evaluations, your credentialing, and all of that. And then they'll say that, okay, your case is ready to get an interview date for you to get your visa interview and then all of that. So they assign like case numbers to the whole thing. So once the case numbers are assigned, it's going to come on a case by case basis. So the year with which they are ready to check their application numbers and issue them visas is the year that they'll say this year is current. And so if your case is current, it means that they're going to call for visa interviews. Now, if there's a retrogression, it means that they are probably going to say from those who applied from 2021, after 2021 December, we are not going to call on any cases again. And so the retrogression has hit the people who are after that date, let's say December 2021 for this discussion. And so all those whose cases became current after that period, you are not going to get a visa date once retrogression has set in. And you're going to have to wait until the retrogression is over before you can get it. And I think that the dilemma of people is whether they are going to come to the US or anything. And I think that that's the first thing people have to understand. Once you have filed for the visa process, the retrogression is not something that's going to be perpetual. There's going to be a time where they will issue visas, and it happens every now and then. So just keep in mind that you will definitely move to the US, which is why if you are in a retrogression, there are several important things that you can do, and we'll get to that.
Okay. And somebody was also saying that it affects you based on your nationality, and somebody's also saying it affects you based on your current place of residence, and that if you're currently in the UK, they will look at people who are currently in the UK regardless of them being Ghanaians much earlier than people who are living in Ghana and are Ghanaians. Is that true as well?
Yeah, so you know, when the bulletin comes, I think they call it the bulletin. When the bulletin comes, they give you how they allot the visa dates or the spaces. So they tell you, oh, people who are applicants from India, their retrogression date is say 2023. It means that they are going to interview people up to 2023. Then they'll tell you those who are from Philippines will be up to this point, and then the rest of the world, there's that unit to ROW, day to their retrogression is probably December 2021. So you realize that the dates do vary. As to whether or not it's always the case that some countries get prominence or preeminence over some
country of residence or country of nationality.
No, it's the country where your visa application is going to be charged to. So maybe you are a Ghanaian national, but you are a resident in the UK, and the time you applied, it was all in the UK. It's going to be charged in the UK. So it's not because you are a Ghanaian. The country you are resident in is going to affect how you are affected by the retrogression. So it is the case that it's easier for people to get visas to, say, the US from the UK. But I don't think that once you're in the UK, you are not going to be affected. Of course, you will be affected because, for example, in my case, when I went to the embassy told me to bring some documents to process the rest of my stuff. And it has to do with my wife's documentation. And I was not really interested in moving to the US at that point in time. I was beginning to settle in the UK. So I was delaying. And I think it was about 5 days after I went for the visa interview, they were waiting for that document to send me the visa. And then the embassy called me from London and are like, if you don't send your document by the next 2 days, which is going to be a Friday, you are going to be hit by retrogression. And we don't know when you are going to get your visa. This is last year, like May last year or June last year, before I moved here. So I realized that, okay, so I actually had to work on it because even if I was in the US, in the UK, I was going to be hit by retrogression. And people can attest to the fact that a lot of people in the UK are having delays in their visa dates. And
so many.
Yeah. So it's not that you are in the UK, so you are not going to be hit. I don't think they are going to do that open discrimination. They probably have reasons why they are doing that. So it's a challenge. And I met a Filipino nurse who told me she was in the retrogression for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but she came, I think this year. But she was in the retrogression for 7 years. And they were also in the retrogression. There was somebody who was also in the retrogression for 5 years. So it depends on people and the country that you are put. I don't know. People unfortunately don't have a control over that. So don't have people telling you they can help you through the retrogression. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Wow. And somebody was also saying that if you've lived in the UK for, let's say, 6 years, you have your passport as a British citizen, you can actually just travel to America with obviously you can, and then you can actually look for a job. Let's say you passed your NCLEX, blah, 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 you did everything on your own. You can actually look for a job like that, and that way it will be faster. Have you heard of anything like that?
How do you even get a job without a work permit? If you have a British passport,
yes. So
if you have a British passport, you are moving to the US as a tourist, right? You are on a visiting visa. So it's not that because you are moving to the US from the UK, you have a British passport, you have a work permit. You need a work permit to live and work in the US. It's the same whether you have an American passport, you're coming to the UK, you still need it. So it doesn't really matter. You need to have a work permit or a green card or something so that you can be able to apply for a job there. It's like there are a lot of people.
The person was saying that there's another type of employment-based visas where British citizens can easily access.
Oh, yeah.
And that one, you're not allowed to bring your dependent or something like that. It was a funny.
Oh, I think they call it, is it the HB1 visa that has come up? I don't know a lot about these ones, but I know that there are employment-based visas as well where you can get a job. But if you're a nurse, I don't know hospitals that are recruiting people without work-based visa.
Okay.
By the way, this video is proudly sponsored by Lemfi. So for those of you who are hearing Lemfi for the first time, Lemfi is an international money transfer company that allows you to send money from the UK, from Canada, and the US to over 10 different African countries. You can send money to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Cameroon, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Benin, Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda at zero transfer charges, zero fees, nothing at all. And on top of that, they have the best rate on the market. Compare Lemfi's rate to any other app you know. They are always the best. And so I recommend Lemfi if you're in the UK, you're in Canada or the US, and you want to transfer money to friends and family in any of these countries that I have mentioned, okay? As well, if you use the code NANEL, you get £15 cash back on your first transfer above £100, okay? And then you can also always generate your own referral link and then send to friends and family. So when they use your link, you get a bonus as well from Lemfi. Lemfi is the best, and ever since I discovered them, that's what my friends and my family have been using. Thank you, Lemfi, for sponsoring today's video.
That's clear. So what can we do to help our situation?
So I think that there are so many things that you can do. You cannot affect the process, but you can surely influence how you react to the whole visa retrogression, because there's a long wait time, and the wait period can be in your favor or against you. The first thing I think people can do is, like, I mean, I'm talking from my experience of being here. I went to cut my hair 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the guy spent about 17 minutes to cut my hair, and he charged me $60. And I'm like, this barbering is something that my nephew, who is 12 years in Ghana, is learning. He's learning, and he's cutting people's hair in Ghana. 12 years. He spent about 6 months to learn how to cut hair, and he's doing it well. What prevents a nurse who's going to work 36 hours from setting up a barbering salon and employing people or doing it himself and making money? Because the hourly wage of a nurse in the US is about $39. So if you are cutting people's hair and you're charging $50, $60, it means that it's a viable side hustle. And there are so many other things you can do. My wife had to pay about $400 to have her braids done. So the question is that nurses can learn so many things. So one of the first things you can do with your retrogression period is to learn a skill. Like, if I call a plumber right now, the call out is more than $100 for them to just come and see what's happening before they'll give me a quote and all of that. But if I'm a plumber, I can just do this in about
that. I'm not even there, but all what you're saying is already stressing me. I've not even reached America, but
so like, if you learn a skill, you can make a lot of money from it. I know a lot of nurses who came, some of them, their partners were working as carers initially, and they started learning to drive, and they decided driving Uber, and they don't want to go to school again because they are making like $3,000-$4,000 a week driving Uber, which nurses don't even make that. So learning a skill before you come here is going to be a huge blessing to you. Like, you can talk to somebody, learn how to sew, learn how to be a tailor, make African clothes. There are so many black people here who want to wear African clothes in summer. Even the whites also want to wear it. Learn how to be a hairdresser. Hairdressing is like a big business here. Learn how to do something, a skill, so that if you come here, you will say that my retrogression has helped me and I have this skill, and it's an added advantage. Even musical instruments, people are playing for churches in like Maryland, and they are paying the bass guitarist like $200 per service they play. I mean, and that's like 3-4 hours. So you can learn anything, and it's going to help you out in a lot of ways. And the next thing is that if you are coming with dependents, try and make sure that your dependents are also ready to start working for themselves from the get-go, because there are a lot of Ghanaians in this area who are now doing mobile food. They cook and they supply to people's homes, shito, stews, and stuff like that. So if you can do all those businesses, develop the skill, when you come here, you hit the ground running, and it's a huge advantage, so that your retrogression period wouldn't be like just a heartache, like just staying at home and you're so worried about whether or not you're going to come and whether to quit your job and so on and so forth.
Wow, noted.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So I'm part of a WhatsApp group where it's like, let's say 20 people on there have already passed, and now it's an NCLEX study group.
Okay.
And they are now helping the other people who are on there planning. And then most of these people are in Ghana.
Okay.
So yeah, I understand. And I feel like even if for those who are even in Ghana, they have a much bigger chance to be able to find time.
Oh yeah.
Learn how to braid hair, to
Yeah.
learn how to barber, like you're saying. Because over here, for instance, for me, if I say I'm going to learn how to do something, who am I going to give my baby to? But in Ghana,
Yeah.
so many people to help you to, you know. And then like Ghana, average work hours for a nurse is like 6 hours, either 8 to 2 or 2 to 8, or you're doing 9 shifts. And you can make time to learn all of
Yeah, you can learn. I mean, I'm asking people to do it because I have done it. I mean, yeah, I mean, when I was in Ghana, I was a tailor. I had
really,
I make like top clothes. I had like a lot of my doctors in Cocoa Clinic. I used to sew for them, and this was before COVID hit. So when COVID hit, I made so much money.
Your own design.
Oh yeah. So when COVID hit, I made scraps for my Cocoa Clinic, like at the whole hospital. I made the scraps, more than 100 scraps for the whole hospital, and it was because I learned to sew. So I tell people it's something you can always do. And when I went to the tailor, I told him, look, I don't have 3 years to learn like your apprentices. I want to learn how to sew in the shortest time as possible. So he dedicated special time to me. He didn't take me through learning buttons and
I am so impressed.
Yeah. So like within 3 months, I was already sewing. Within 6 months, I was sewing as good as somebody who people will start paying for me. And a lot of my colleagues, their African clothes for weddings, I was making for them. I was making good money in Ghana. Like during COVID, I had embroidery people in Accra, Newtown. I'll bring my scraps to them and they will do the embroidery of the hospital names. And I had all of that. I even went as far as importing tailors from Nigeria to come and work for me. So they were helping me make the
money.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah, so people can do that. You can do that.
I'm really impressed. I never thought. You've never mentioned that. I've never.
I don't talk about all those things.
Wow. So do you have like a page, your fashion design page on Instagram?
Oh no, I don't. So again, I mean, when I left Ghana and I came to the UK,
why would you invest that much time and energy and develop all those skills in that while and just let it go? Do you know that there's this brand of scrubs that was originated by medical professionals? I've forgotten the name. It's a very popular brand. It's nothing extraordinary, but the way the white people wear it, and it's so expensive.
It's called Figs, right?
What? Figs. Yes, FIGS, right? Yes. You can do something.
I can do that. I mean, there's still a lot of.
Have to be the one to sew, but like you can start it because you have the, interesting. Oh, I'm so happy. Wow, you done well.
So instead of waiting for 2 years to come and to stay at home and be worried about retrogression, just do something, and the pain of waiting for retrogression will be out of your mind. Because when I was sewing, that was why I wasn't really interested in moving to the UK, because I was making good money during COVID. I was making scraps. I had some of my DCs and my MPs and my doctors were my friends, and I was sewing for them, and I was making money from sewing. So it's something that you can actually do and make money from. There are some people, even if you can learn to fix a car, go to a mechanic and ask them to teach you how to fix a car.
Let's end this with 10 skills that people can learn. For some people, only the 3 examples that we've said in this video, that's all that will be in their head. Let's 10 more. Let's give 10 more.
You can fix a car.
Braiding for the women.
Yeah.
And then sewing goes for both men and women.
Yeah.
And then the hairdressing for men as well, the barber.
Yeah.
And then we've mentioned cooking.
Yeah, like, they can cook and sell. You know, like when I came here, this was one of the problems I had. There was no Ghanaian restaurant here, and I went to a Gambian restaurant, and they would sell this jollof with cassava, and I'm like, what is cassava doing in jollof rice? And I'm like, really? Where are the Ghanaian cooks? So you can do a Ghanaian restaurant here, like you can run an African restaurant, and people will buy it. I'm telling you. Yeah, so you can cook and sell. You can learn to be a mechanic to fix a car. I know a lot of people who fix their own cars when the car, like even to change a car tire, to change an oil. If you don't know how to do it, I had a benefit of riding a very bad car while I was in Ghana, so I know how to fix some parts of my car. So like,
wow, you're very handsome.
I can do that, but you have to learn it, and you can do it for a lot of people. You can do that. That's another thing you can do.
Decor for parties.
Decor, yeah. I have one of my godmothers in the UK. That's what she does. She's a nurse. She's an agency nurse, but she does decor. She has a lot of people who ask her to come and do decor for them. And then there's photography as well.
Photography, yes.
Yeah, there's photography. Like, I mean, I even have a lens here that I go and do photographing, like just around to study. And there are simple courses, like if you go on Skillshare, I learned photography and videography on Skillshare, and you can get the settings, you can get the LUTs and all the things that you can use to edit your photos. And photography is a big deal. Like nurses are always doing weddings here, and then you can go and shoot one wedding in a weekend for like $1,000.
Let's also mention makeup, nail, eyelash, all of that, all of those. I've seen ladies who are teaching people how to do brow lamination. For the women, they'll know what I mean by brow lamination, and it's like a 2-day course, and let's say it's £100. They are teaching you how to do it, and you are only paying £200. And if you are curious and then you're eager to learn, that's you done.
I joined a group of Africans here, and most of them are Somali or Kenyans, and a lot of them run beauty businesses. So maybe they are fixing nails or lashes, and people do it every week, and they have people on subscription basis. So they pay about $100 a month or so, and then you can go and fix your eyelash every time, like I think twice a month.
That is so smart.
And some people only use acrylic nails, and you can always do that.
When I came to the US just recently, my little sister's friend, her colleague, her age mate, she does acrylic. Would you believe that I was in the US for a month? The girl never had time to do mine. That's how booked she is. She's booked Monday to Sunday, morning to evening, and she's made so much money. So much money from and she never learned it from anywhere, just YouTube. YouTube and TikTok. YouTube and practice.
And so imagine you are a nurse in Ghana and you are worried about, who send me so many emails, I'm worried about retrogression, should I apply for school? And I'm like, once you have applied and your date is on, you will definitely come to the US. The best you can do for yourself is to learn a skill and be good at it. Like when you come, you will make sick money, you will be shocked. Like you will be surprised at the amount of money, because I know a lot of nurses whose partners, some of them, they open ladies' hair shop for them. And because you are a nurse, you can can save, let's say, $50,000 in about 2 years or something, and then they go and buy hair and come and start selling, and they make so much money and they are shocked. So it's one of the advantages of having a skill that you can learn and invest your money in. You will never go wrong with it.
Tips on how to, beat retrogression or what you can do for yourself during this retrogression period. I honestly thought you were going to say something. I never thought it was going to go to this.
Yeah. Because no matter what you do, you are going to end up in the US at some point in time. I know a friend who has started an NCLEX or NCLEX study process. So he teaches people to register for the NCLEX, go and write and come. And now he's getting a lot of people in Ghana because he's helping people to go and study the NCLEX and go and write it and book for them to go right and come. Wow. And because he's hit by the retrogression, he's not crying about it. He's trying to turn it around. And I don't even think he's worried about coming because he's making money there. So he's going to come, but he's not worried about the time it's going to happen because he's doing something productive there. And if he comes here and he continues that business, he can start a staffing company or an overseas recruitment company because he knows the process of bringing people to go and write the NCLEX, and he can use his money to invest in it and get people doing. So there are several things that people can do for the retrogression not to hit them that hard because you are in it and there's not much you can do about it anyway.
That's really, really true. That's really true. Wow. Well said, Manny. Okay. Well said. Your final words, and then we'll call this.
Yeah, I would want to say that for people who are going through the process, they should just keep persevering and keep striving, and things will definitely open up, and that's our prayer. And like we said, you can make the most out of the challenges you are having or the time that you find yourself and see where it takes you. And subscribe to Nanel's channel, watch Nanel's videos, and leave comments.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, we even forgot that they can do content creation as well.
Yeah.
Learn how to edit videos short, how to create that, and then they can
be a good video editor and just
the video editing takes so much time.
Yeah, well, you can just outsource the video and be making money too from it. So
wow, thank you so much, Manny.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.